The biggest question that we get is, what is cyber insurance? What is a cyber liability policy? What does it cover? What does it not cover? And unlike other types of insurance that have existed for decades, if not centuries, cyber insurance is relatively new, right? If you have homeowners insurance, there are standardized policies, an HO1, an HO3, a dwelling policy, DP1, DP3. Those have been created as standardized policies over 50, 60 years, sometimes longer. Cyber insurance has not yet standardized. In fact, in some states, it's considered to be excess and surplus lines. It's not an admitted carrier type policy, and there's no standardization of what the policies cover. So this article, ZDNet, is a great long-running historical technical publication. Asked the question, what is cyber insurance? Well, according to their expert, it says the formal definition is a contract between an insurer and a company, this is talking about commercial lines, to protect against losses that are related to computer or network incidents. Great. However, there are things that cyber insurance can't protect against, and the organization will need to make sure it understands what is covered and, more importantly, what isn't covered when you sign up. Make sure that you get a good understanding of what's covered. There's no such thing as an all-risk or all-peril cyber insurance policy. Many of them have high co-insurance and many exclusions from coverage. Sometimes you can endorse back some coverages. Here's the key quote right here. Cyber insurance will not instantly solve all your cybersecurity issues, but it is an important thing to put in place. Here's why. Most of the insurers, in addition to providing coverage, will provide you with preventative measures that they will require or suggest that you put in place based on their experience. Remember, you're just one company. Maybe you have some colleagues that are in the similar industry that you can share information with, but the insurer has hundreds or thousands of businesses that they insure, that they know what are the risks, and they can help you avoid the risk that they see in other industries. Now is a very good time to have a business partner, so to speak, like an insurer, provide you with their expertise in cyber insurance. Now, there's not going to be any cyber insurance consultants or experts that can have the same breadth of experience that an insurance company will. Insurance companies see all of the losses. They see all of the claims, more so than even a consultant. So having a policy in place from a insurer that provides this as a broad range of coverage will give you insight into how to prevent this happening in your company. Because here's the thing, unlike an auto policy, if you crash your car, God forbid, and you put in a claim, you're going to be put back pretty much whole. Your car will be fixed and you probably won't have too much money out of pocket. You may have a small deductible if it was your fault. With a cyber claim, even with coverage, there's still going to be uncovered losses. It may just be your reputation as a company. It may be some exclusions from coverage. So you want to avoid it at all costs. You probably don't think too much of avoiding losses as much in other insured perils because you have insurance. But with cyber insurance, you want to avoid it even if you have coverage, and the insurance company will help you do that. Who needs cyber insurance? Any business with an online component. Well, guess what? That means any business, because this day and age, every business has some online component. Even if you are a food truck that sells coffee on the corner, you have a point of sale machine that transmits information for payments or credit card payments. That is a potential loss component if it gets hacked. What sorts of attacks? Well, you're going to look at things like ransomware, fund transfer, fraud attack, business email compromise. How much does it cost? Well, right now it's actually fairly reasonable for what it covers. There's a huge range though, so make sure that you talk to different carriers, not so much to find the cheapest coverage, because the cheapest coverage might basically have zero valuable coverage for you. But you probably can find a big range of the same type of coverage from different companies. This is different than property and casualty. If you shop your auto insurance, for example, from the Lizard, from the Caveman, from all the different providers, the Duck and Flow, whatever, you may find some slight variations between one company and another for the same types of coverage. With cyber coverage, for the same exact coverage, you may find a huge range where one might be twice as much as somebody else, because these companies are still fine-tuning their understanding of the market and what their perceived losses are. They know what the losses have been in the last 5 years, but they have no idea what the losses are going to be in the next 5 years because it's changing rapidly. And you can look at our other video about the IC3 growth in losses from the FBI to kind of give an idea of that. The insurance companies are doing the best they can. They are an expert resource. You want to have that resource on your side. You don't want to go this alone. And it talks about some of the standard coverages that happen. Insurance companies cover the cost of giving in and paying a ransom, right? That's some insurance offer that coverage for ransomware. They may have coverage for business email compromise. Basically, that's phishing. Somebody, sends you an email and puts a virus in an attached file. These attacks see criminals posing as a CEO and duping people into transferring payments. This happens a lot in the real estate industry where somebody will pretend they're a title company, send emails to a buyer of a property and tell them to wire the money for their purchase to somewhere else. Many, many, many types of coverage. What it doesn't cover are things like acts that you didn't prevent against. Intellectual property is a good example of an exclusion. If you have a patent, if you have a trademark, sometimes those aren't covered by cyber insurance. Neither is the reputational cost. If you have a cyber attack on your company and it makes you look bad and buyers don't come and pay as much money for your product, or your vendors don't want to do business with you, that may not be covered. It will, here it talks about lose business due to public perception of having poor security. If your company is looked at as having bad security, customers might not want to buy online because their personal information is now on your server. The important thing is to look at a cyber liability policy as having two benefits. One is potential loss, restoration of funds if you lose money, but also as a resource of getting good information of preventing risk in the first place that might cost you losses, money, or damages that maybe even aren't covered under a claim from your existing policy. In a good, experienced primary coverage cyber liability firm is the best way to add that to your business without having to learn by the school of hard knocks and having a hack teach you a lesson after the fact.